guys, welcome or welcome back. If you've been here before, then you probably know the drill. You know what I'm about to say, which is that this is my favorite video to film every single month, and that is letting my TBR mug pick out my TBR for this time. It's November. These videos have become so popular thanks to Miss Rachel Catherine, and they are not only my favorite to film, but they're probably one of my favorites to watch other people do every month. But if this is your first time seeing one of these videos, I just have a bunch of prompts written down in here. I'll pick a few out and then use those prompts to pick books off of my TBR cart. If you've watched my most recent video, I went through the 7 books that I really want to finish by the end of 2023, and I've already finished one of those. So I have 6 books left, and I put these at the top here so that I hopefully can pick as many of them as I can for the TBR. I don't think I want to read all of them in November. I want to save some for December, but hopefully the prompts will allow me to pick a couple from that TBR. 2 of those 6 I absolutely have to read in November, so if they don't make it on the list, then I'm going to be adding them to the TBR. Including those 2, I want to pick about 7 to 8 books, so we'll see how many I get to pick from here. If I haven't picked either of them by the time I hit like 5, then I'll probably just stop it there. I have a lot of really great books left that I want to read for the fall, so I'm very excited to see what we pick. First one is tiny. Oh, it's a horror book. Okay. I actually don't have too many horror books, and I think the easy choice is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. This I actually had on my October TBR and I got 16 pages into it. I just wasn't feeling it at the time, but I do really want to read this. My roommate Kat got this for me for either my birthday or for Christmas, and she actually picked out my October TBR and she put this on there, so I feel bad that I haven't read it yet. So I think it's really great for me to give it another chance in November. And honestly, I don't think I really have any other options. I have House of Hollow. I think that's a horror book, but I'm not entirely sure. But I've already started this one, so I might as well try and give it another go. I talked about this last month, but this is about a group of final girls, which is just a term used for like the only girl who survives in a horror movie type situation. The women I think are now in their like 70s or 80s now, and they've been going to this support group for a really long time, obviously. And one of them goes missing, and they find out that someone, I guess, is trying to hunt them down, maybe? I don't really know anything else other than that, but it is a horror, so it fits. Book number 2. Oh, this is long now. A book you've had for a long time. Well, that's a lot of these. I think I'm going to use this as my perfect opportunity to pick ACOTAR. I think I've had this for almost a year, if not already a year, and I've just been scared to read it, but then I put it on my list for books I want to read by the end of the year, and I really want to read it while we're still in like peak fall season instead of waiting for the winter. I don't know why. So I did want to try and get to this one in November, so this is perfect. I've been putting this off for so long just because I'm afraid, like, what if I don't love it as much as everybody else? But then I'm also afraid of what if I do love it as much as everyone else, and then I have that just sad, empty feeling when I finish all of Sarah J Maas's books and I don't have anything else to read, which is very dramatic and stupid, and I just need to read it. I've decided to make an effort to read the books that I've been putting off for a really long time because I think I'm gonna like them, because it's just silly, and that's how I end up going like 8 months without a single 5-star read. I feel like literally everybody knows about this book. I honestly don't know much about the plot other than it follows this girl Feyre, and she gets involved with these fairies and like bat boys. It's a fantasy about fae. It's like woodland, fall, winter vibes. I don't want to know anything more than that. I kind of want to just go into it as blind as possible. I've managed to avoid most spoilers up until this point, so I just don't want to know anything else. I do know something kind of big that happens in book 2, but for the most part, I don't know a whole lot about it, and I'm nervous but excited to do this, and I plan to do a reading vlog for this one. Book number 3. Book being turned into a TV series or a movie. Ooh. Oh, perfect! This is 2 books, but this is perfect. These are the 2 that I absolutely had to put on my TBR regardless, and that is the third game in the Hunger Games. The third book in the Hunger Games series, Mockingjay, and then the prequel book that came out a couple years ago, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and the movie of this will be coming out on November 17th. So I have got to finish these, so that is perfect. I've heard pretty mixed reviews about the prequel. I think I'm going to enjoy it regardless because I really enjoy her writing and being in the Hunger Games world. And I'm looking forward to Mockingjay because my reread of the Hunger Games and Catching Fire went really well. I was kind of pleasantly surprised by how much I still enjoyed them. So these are going to be fun and short, kind of easy reads. Like I said, I already knew I was going to read these and they were going to end up on the TBR, but I'm excited just thinking about reading them. Okay, so that's 4. I think I'm going to pick 3 more. Book I bought recently. Ooh. I could do Bunny, The Prison Healer, A Deadly Education, Icebreaker, but I want to save that for December. Ooh, I could read Kitchen Confidential. Or I could do Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, or One for My Enemy by Olive E. Blake. I bought these pretty recently and wanted to read them in the fall. Okay, this is kind of hard. This is more options than I normally have for one prompt. Bunny is Dark Academia, which I've been kind of getting into. The Prison Healer is a young adult fantasy. I've heard a lot of people reading this recently and liking it, but it's the start of a trilogy. And I'm going to be starting ACOTAR. Maybe I don't need to do another fantasy series. Same goes for Deadly Education, I guess. This is really short though, but it's the first in maybe a trilogy, or there could be more books. And then I have these two. This One for My Enemy, looks kind of thick, which is probably just because it's a hardcover. I think I'm gonna do Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This I've just heard is like a really cute, low stakes fantasy, and I feel like with everything else I have, it might be nice to have a more lighthearted, easy book. Hopefully I don't find this boring because I know it's a little bit slow, but I don't mind a low stakes fantasy. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I should probably explain what this is about, right? This is about Emily Wilde, who is a Cambridge professor who is studying fairies, and she's putting together an encyclopedia, and I think that she gets sent to a cute little village to study a specific type of fairy, and I think there might be a little bit of romance involved. Like I said, it's just kind of a cozy fantasy. It sounds like a book that's more about the vibes, and it seems like it has really great fall vibes, so perfect for November. A book that's really popular right now. I feel like these are some pretty good prompts. My first thought is Fourth Wing because it's just crazy popular, and the second book comes out next month. I thought it wasn't coming out till December or January, but I found out I think it's like November 7th or 14th or something, so it's pretty soon. So the hype maybe died down a little bit, but I think it's gonna come right back up because everybody is going to be getting ready for the second book. Again, Prison Healer is pretty popular right now. I think I'm gonna go for it. This will hopefully be the month that I finally tackle Fourth Wing. I did also tell someone that I would read it before Thanksgiving so that we could talk about it at Thanksgiving. So all signs are saying that I have to try and read it. Maybe I can get it done before the second book comes out. I wouldn't be too optimistic about that, but you never know. This is in the same boat as ACOTAR, where I've had this ever since it came out, and I've just been afraid to read it because of all the hype that it has. I'm super scared that I'm not gonna like this as much as everybody else. But honestly, I just need to stop worrying about that. Again, I like to go into books pretty much as blind as I can. So all I know is that this is about a school where people learn to ride dragons, and our main character goes from wanting to be a scribe her whole life to her mom, I think, kind of forcing her to be a dragon rider. And there's this guy Xaden, they have an enemies to lovers, everybody's obsessed with him, and that's kind of all I know. Okay, I'm actually more nervous to read this than I thought I was. Just thinking about reading it is making me sweat, but it has to be done. And I'm really clearing out the books that I wanted to read by the end of the year. So this is what I should be doing. Okay, that's 6. I'll probably only pick out one more, unless it's a really short one. So hopefully this is a good one. Author's name starts with an S. Okay, neither of those at the top. I'm gonna have to do some digging. I actually have a lot of options for this. I didn't even pick all of the ones that I have on my TBR, just the ones I was most interested in. So let's go through these. I could finally start my first V.E. Schwab book, and I have 3. Actually, no, I have 5 books by her, but one's a series. I have all 3 books in the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. Like I said before, now I have 2 series that I'm going to be reading the first book in, so I do not think that I need to start another one. I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which is a standalone, but it seems pretty long. And then Gallant, which is a young adult fantasy, and I think it's also a standalone. But honestly, I don't know anything about this, so I'm not really in the mood to pick this up. I have Scythe by Neal Shusterman. This is another first book in a series, and this is, I think, a sci-fi fantasy. This is about a world where people don't die anymore because of natural causes, so people become scythes, and they actually are just sent to kill people. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. Ooh, I have Billy Summers by Stephen King, but the thing is, this is also a pretty long book, and I'm intimidated by my TBR already. I've been really excited to read this for a while, ever since Haley Pham read it, but again, like, I'm just intimidated. I've never read one of his books before, and they're all so long, and this one is not an exception. I guess the last one on my list is House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. This is the other horror book I talked about having. This is a young adult, so I don't know how, like, scary horror it really is, but I think it's about 3 sisters who disappear and then they come back like a month later with no memories, and I don't know what else happens. I think one of them goes missing or dies. Okay, yeah, they start to like change, their physical appearance changes, and then one of them goes missing. This one is pretty short and it's YA, so I don't feel super intimidated about it. And I've had it for a pretty long time, so maybe I should just read it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one. Okay, that's 7, and I think I'm gonna stop here because I'm already in the middle of 2 books right now, and I don't think I have a chance of reading all of these in November anyways, so no need to put another one on. If I get to most of these, I think this is gonna be a pretty good reading month. A lot of these are books that I've been excited for a really long time, so I'm anxious to see what my thoughts are on them. To recap, we've got House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, Mockingjay, and The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. That is everything. These videos always feel like they go by so fast. I wish I could just keep picking books forever. Maybe next month I will try something different. Maybe there's something else I can do to pick out my TBR instead of the mug. If anyone has any suggestions, then let me know. I would love to switch it up a little bit. But I hope that you enjoyed watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!